Hi everyone, Jess here, and thank you for joining me for another March Madness layout. So as you can see, there is a huge chunk of paper taken right out of the middle of this layout. Why? Why would someone do that? I know, I'm crazy. So I tried so many different ways to work with this paper as it was and try and sort of fill in that gap, and I just was struggling. I just couldn't. I think I sent 1,000 photos to my sister and she was amazing. She gave me so many ideas and it just never looked right. But I just loved the rainbow paper and I really, really, really wanted to use it. So then I had the brainiac idea of covering it with a cut file, because even though you can definitely still see the white underneath, it looks less in your face. It looks less like obvious that there's a big hole in the paper, but there is. So I backed this cut file. Usually I would cut a lot more out of the cut file, as in I'd cut the middle of the X's out and I'd cut the little tiny gaps between the X and the O out. But I didn't, obviously, because I'm trying to cover as much of that white as possible. So did I mention? I know that I didn't. I am using this layout as my entry for Jodie's amazing rainbow challenge over on the Confessions of a Paper Addict Facebook group, which is linked down below. Have you joined in those amazing challenges? It is Virginia's 1-year celebration of having Confessions of a Paper Addict, and there are a stack of challenges over there. Every D Design team member has got a challenge going on. Danny's got mixed metals. Katie's got don't use any 12 by 12 paper. I have got choose a color scheme challenge. Jodie's got this rainbow challenge. Daisy's got use an unusual size piece, like don't make a 12 by 12, make a something else. Virginia's got use a massive, like make the photo the focal, like use a big photo. Laura's got a recipe, I want to say, or is that Sandy's? Can't remember the last two. A recipe challenge and something else. And Melissa's is be pin-spired. Use her sort of like a mood board, but not Pinterest images to inspire you to create something. So there are so many challenges and there are prizes. So I highly recommend you pop on over and join in the fun over there. So this is my entry for Jodie's Rainbow Challenge. And it's not super, super rainbowy because I think of the pastel colours. It sort of tones down the rainbowness of it. But it is definitely rainbow. There is all the colours of a rainbow, just in the pastel tones. So I am, again, still playing around to cover as much of that white as possible. And I think I am achieving my goal here. So I fussy cut a whole bunch of the flowers off the black and white floral sheet from the Pink. This is Pink Fresh Studios A Lovely Day, or Oh, A Lovely Day, or something like that. And one of the pattern papers is just these gorgeous florals, but it's all just black and white. So I fussy cut nearly the entire page of those. So I'm using some of those on this layout. I then wanted to put the title Strawberry Moments, but you couldn't read it. So I actually stuck my title onto black paper and then cut out my title all in one piece, so it's got a little edging of black all the way around it. And so that yellow word says fabulous. Then I've got strawberry moments. And then I think that bottom word says beautiful. I can't read it properly when I'm doing my voiceover. Apologies. Just in case you wondered, if you don't do voiceovers, I'm doing my voiceover on my mobile phone. And so the layout itself is about 1 inch big. So it's already quite challenging to see. Though I could sit the real thing next to me in real life, but I'm also in my car sitting in the driveway so that I can talk without annoying anyone and waking anyone up because the rest of my house is asleep. And then, just to make it worse, back to the screen. So the screen has the layout about an inch big, but then half of that inch is covered by the recording bar that says your video is recording and tells you it's got like a sound monitor, so it tells you if you're talking too loud and you're going up into the red or if you're just hanging out in the green and the yellow section. So if ever myself or probably 90% of the rest of the world is trying to explain something on their layout and they sound really silly because they're getting it wrong and you think, why? Can't you read that word? It's just right there. It's not that small. That's why. Because it's probably either covered by the recording bar or it's only an inch big, so it is really small. I'm sorry. That was really random. I'm a bit crazy today. So I am so excited with how this layout finally turned out because that big square chunk of paper missing from the center was just doing my head in, and I did not want to waste this stunning piece of paper. I don't even know why I cut that out, but anyway, I did. So, that's the other thing. You may have noticed that down at the bottom, that bottom X the cut file itself had been torn. I actually had this cut file cut for a very long time. I don't even know how long. It's from Confessions of a Paper Addict as well, so I will link it in the store down below. And at some stage, just having it hanging around in my craft room, it's torn. So I just wanted to cover that. So that's why there's that little floral cluster down the bottom. And then therefore I wanted to mirror that floral cluster and put one up the top just so it didn't look completely random. And then I had another floral cluster just underneath the photo. And then I'm doing this last floral cluster in the middle of the two photos. Now I'd run out of pattern paper to back my photos, and so the photo at the bottom photo has got a little gap where there's no pattern paper at all. So I actually wanted to move all of that cluster down just a little bit so that the butterfly wing is covering the gap, covering the hole where there is no pattern paper. I hope that makes sense. Just trying to fix all the tiny little imperfections that are all over this entire layout. Because I think it's Inky Quill that says, I'm sure it's 99% of scrapbookers that says there are no mistakes in scrapbooking that an embellishment can't fix. This is the perfect example of where an embellishment can fix a mistake in scrapbooking, because honestly, I have a big massive hole in the middle of my paper. My cut file has a tear in it and a whole chunk missing. My photos are matted with gaps where the colored pattern paper just didn't fit, and I have covered them all. So definitely don't let imperfections hold you back, people. There is nothing that an embellishment can't fix. And I'm so happy with how this has turned out in the end, after being such a disaster start to ending so cohesively and actually looking exactly like it could have looked with zero mistakes. So that's so cool. So you've just seen me splatting on my gold Heidi Shine. Now I'm going to splat on a little bit of black just to tie in the black cut file. And then we are done, and I'm going to pop on over to the up close photos, and you will see the colors in the up close photos so much better. It is just stunning, the colors in that pattern paper. You can see even more why I had to use it. And so yeah, here you go. I'm so happy with the way this turned out in the end. I hope you have enjoyed watching along, and I hope it has told you that don't give up on a layout. You can always fix it. Thank you so much, and stay tuned for my next Even March Madness day.